In 2007, I was sitting at the beach one morning, looking out at Diamond Head, watching the sun come up over the horizon. I could feel the waves at my feet and the sand in my hand because I was sitting there asking myself, how did I get to this place again? You see, it wasn't just the beach for me that morning. I was bankrupt. It took me so long to build up my real estate investment empire, and in a moment's notice, man, it was gone. And as I sat there that morning crying, I was asking God, what is it that you wanted me to do? Because I thought that I did everything right. Sharon was pregnant with my twins, Max and Leo, at the time. And Marquise was young. And I was asking myself, man, I don't know how to do anything else. I spent so long building this. How am I going to provide for my family? You see, unfortunately, what was exposed when I lost my business and I was losing the real estate stuff and I was bankrupt was my failing marriage. My relationship between Sharon and I was never really good. At the time, we had only been married for a few years. And during that time, we argued all the time. We always were on the edge of divorce. I was so miserable, and I thought that my business could save us. I thought that making more money could save us because I knew how to do that. Now, while I was growing this business, I hustled, and I flew out, and I did the things that was required, and I made the money, and I was responsible. Yet at the same time, I was still losing, and I was like, God, what is it that you wanted from me? I thought I did everything right. Tell me what you want me to do. And I sat there, man, and I heard nothing. Nothing. I was ashamed of who I was. I was frustrated because I really believed that was my breakthrough moment. While I had success in the past, this was the one time that we were going to finally hit that mark that I knew that as growing up as a kid that I could finally get to because I penciled that out in my mind. I was different. I was built for this shit. And as I cried out to God, I was listening for an answer. I was like, you know what? If you were ever going to speak to me because you told me that if I did this, I would win. I'm listening now. I heard nothing. I was like, you know what, God? Okay. I will do it my fucking self. You don't want to help me? Fine. I'll do it myself. I refuse to sit in this spot and lose. You see, I believe that I'm created to win. When I was a child, when I was 11 years old, I remember sitting down listening to my aunts talk about me. I remember sitting down listening to my aunt tell my other aunts at the table while I was sitting playing with my sister on the floor. She was in a car seat. She was 1, I was 11. They were saying that I was never going to amount to anything. And in my mind as a kid, I was like, are they talking about me? I was just sitting there. I'm just a kid. The biggest thing on my mind at the time was making my sister laugh. I made a decision that day that I was never going to let someone else's opinions about me define me. That I would do whatever it took to succeed in life. I wasn't going to let someone else say what I could be. At 11 years old, I made a decision that I was not like what you think. I was going to succeed. I was going to win. As long as it took, I wouldn't quit. So in that moment, in that instance, I got up from that place telling God, I would do it myself, even without you, because I refuse to lose. I know that I was created to win. Not like what everybody else was saying about me. Attorneys, the court, the judge, that I was done. I walked back to my car and I put on a CD that I was listening to. It was a business CD. And there was a guy there, T.R. Becker. I'd never listened to that CD before. And he was talking about winning. He was talking about being a warrior, overcoming obstacles. And he said something to me. on this tape. He was like, what if you were guaranteed by God himself that you could not fail? What if you knew that you couldn't fail? That you were guaranteed by God himself? And I started crying. I did. I started crying. I sat in the car and I was like, God, you know, thank you. That was the moment I decided that I was guaranteed not to fail. That I was sent here to win. I was sent here to win. That started my dark path and journey to learning and reading books and hiring coaches and going to seminars and traveling all over the world, sleeping in the airport, sleeping in hotels, borrowing money from other people to get where I had to go because I had nothing. But I was so committed to winning, to getting my life back, to being the champion for my life again. I knew that I was created for more. When I created my business, it was for me. When I learned what I needed to do to rebuild who I was, I went to personal development seminars. I got strategies. I used the tools. I went back to doing my MMA training. I went back to wrestling. I went back to all the things that made me me to begin with, the things that defined who I was at the core. You see, I was a champion. I walked the warrior's path for years. I don't know how to do anything else. That was my defining moment. That was the moment I changed. On that beach, when I got up and walked back to my car, defying God himself. Believing that I was created to be more, probably like you. You see, champions do things differently. We decide to win before anybody gives us an opportunity to win. You know? We know what it feels like to lose before we even start. We also know what it feels like in our hearts to be called to be something more than the title that somebody can ever give us. We're willing to make that fight. We're willing to do that. And I believe that because of it, we're called to lead people. We're called to lead ourselves. We're called to lead the people that we care about. We're called to lead our families. So within those changes and building the things that I wanted to build, building and creating the champion's way for men like you, for men like myself, to start to lead and live this way, became my passion. It became my calling, my mission. See, initially this mission wasn't for other people. I was on my own tread to save my own family, to rebuild my life. For Max, for Leo, for Sharon, for Marquise, for Aaron, for Keisha, for Tasha, for my children, for my grandchildren to come at that time. I didn't know. For you, for your kids, to tell you that you are supposed to lead. To say you shouldn't be afraid to fight back. You shouldn't be afraid to want to win it all. You shouldn't be afraid to live your life by a higher standard and hold that standard so other people can rise to the occasion because they see you. Man, that day at the beach changed everything for me. Now, while I have so many defining moments, that was the one that brought me to you today. You see, the champion army and the champion's way of winning it all is my life. I'm sharing with you the things that I've collected over the years on my path to rebuilding who I was. And I started to succeed and I started sharing it with other men like you so you can start to win for your family. So you can begin to lead in a place where leadership is almost shunned. For wanting to be a champion, for wanting to be the best, for wanting to succeed at the level that we believe that we're called to succeed is looked down upon in today's world. I can't see us failing in the future because we refuse to live this champion's way anymore. We are needed. It is required of us. I want to welcome you to this movement that I have of men that are created to win. And we are responding to the call to join this army of men that are committed to live in a way that champions truly are supposed to live. And I'll tell you what that is coming up. But I want to say this before that. There's a cost to living the champion's way. There's a heavy cost to living the champion's way. And as you travel this road with me, and you hear me speak, if I offend you, I get it. But I believe we're all looking for a leader. I just chose to be one. And as I call you to be the champion of your life, I'm looking for you to be a leader too. See, the champion army is about building leaders. This is about me getting up from that sand and walking back. And that knowing that God has called me to be something else. And if he's not with me, then I'll go. Because I believe in that call so much. And immediately he sent a word. So I want to send that word to you. What if you knew that you couldn't fail? What would you choose then? You choose more, and you'd probably choose better because you knew that you can do it. You've been guaranteed not to fail. And I truly believe that. But there comes at a cost of blood, sweat, and tears. Time and energy and money and all the things required of you, because champions recognize that nothing comes for free, and we're willing to do whatever it takes to have that. That is the standard that we live by. Take a look at your life. Do you want to win? Do you want to succeed? Do you want to win it all? That's a choice. Are you willing to pay that cost? Because after this, champions only beyond this point. Champions only beyond this point. If you aren't willing to do whatever it takes, fight that fight, wage war, win it all in your life, it stops here. Champions only are beyond this point. I'm hoping to see you on the other side if you're willing to pay that cost.